Welcome to the Reconnection Club podcast, the show that helps parents heal troubled relationships with their adult sons and daughters. I'm your host, psychotherapist Tina Gilbertson. Each week, I'll offer you compassion, clarity, and personal development tips designed to help you reconnect, not only with your child, but with yourself. Now let's get started. Some parents contact me when the relationship with their estranged adult child has deteriorated so much that everything they do seems to make matters worse. They've received a devastating message from their child, or even a restraining order, or they're faced with an onerous decision and there's a time crunch. A lot has happened leading up to this moment, and now they're in a rush to do something, whether it's booking a ticket, sending a package, or formulating just the right response to a certain development. It's as though they've wandered into a dense forest. They've been circling around and getting more and more disoriented and scared and desperate as they struggle to find a way out. By the time they meet with me, they're not asking for a map. They're asking for help to put out a fire. And depending on the size of the fire, it's not always possible to put it out completely. Sometimes all we can do is try to minimize the damage. There are two ways I see parents lean when things get this rough. Either they continue trying ineffectually to fix a growing problem, or they become paralyzed in the belief that they've tried everything and they begin to shut down. They may go back and forth between those two extremes of desperation and despair, and they suffer terribly. They're in so much pain. That's when something in their heart says, maybe it's time to stop. In my opinion, that is innate wisdom kicking in. It's trying to get you not to give up on ever having a relationship with your child, but to stop the mental torment and re-engage with yourself and the present moment. To be not paralyzed, but mindfully still. It's only in stillness that we can reliably use our inner wisdom as a compass. Parents who tend toward too much activity tell me they're afraid to stop trying because if they do, they might lose the relationship forever. Obviously, that's a terrifying thought and very motivating to keep trying. But the parent's understandable unwillingness or inability to stand down, or their fear of abandonment or rejection, in many cases might be part of the problem that's paradoxically keeping estrangement alive. Some parents' continuing efforts to close the distance actually create more distance. When nothing you do is working, especially if the situation seems to be getting worse instead of incrementally better, the only rational choice is to stop. Well, you might ask, what about doing something else, trying something new? That would be another option. But the new thing parents typically try is usually the old thing in new clothing. It's sending another unwanted text with different content, or another unappreciated gift. Maybe it's apologizing again for something different, or sending the same message as before, but through a third party. It's very hard to repair a relationship with the same tools you had when the problem was being built. Sometimes it takes new tools and a fresh perspective. That's why, as you may recall from episodes 97 through 99, I created a 3-step roadmap to reconnection. And here's a spoiler. Step 1 is essentially stop. Stop and rest. Here's a caveat, though, about stopping. If you are seeing positive changes, no matter how small, it makes sense to keep doing what you're doing just the way you've been doing it. Don't do it more, and don't stop doing it. Because what you're doing is working. It takes time. Changes may be very small. Reconciliation sometimes happens slowly, in fits and starts. But if you're seeing positive changes over time, you may be on your way out of the forest of estrangement already. You just can't see it yet for the trees that are still there. But for a great many parents, stopping is the beginning of the process of reconnection. Not trying to reconnect right now, except with yourself, doesn't mean you're giving up forever. You can safely pause without losing the hope or desire to reconnect with your adult child or children in the future. So if you've exhausted yourself in the deep woods of estrangement, getting either more keyed up and desperate or shut down and hopeless, try taking a few breaths and calming the mental chatter, whatever it looks like. And in your mind's eye, with unhurried movements, gently open your backpack. Notice there's a map and a compass, a combination that maybe you haven't used before or used consistently. Anytime you want to, when your body and mind have settled just enough, you can find a place to sit comfortably and figure out how you will use these tools to find your way home. When you do this, when you truly stop and concentrate on your resources, the forest will no longer be your focus. Now it's all about the map in your hands and the compass inside your slowly and fully breathing body. With a decent map, your compass will guide you not only out of this forest, but out of different ones in the future. When you decide to stop trying in vain to connect with an estranged adult child, or you decide to stop losing time and re-engage with the present moment, that decision to stop can mark an important point along the way, or even a new beginning on your personal path of healing, and by extension, the road to reconnection. Always keep in mind, you have information sources besides your adult child or children to help you find your way, including the roadmap I mentioned earlier, mine and other books, this and other podcasts, and of course, if you're a member, the wealth of materials in our Reconnection Club library. Information is your map, and your compass is always with you. So although these woods of estrangement can be very dark, and it's okay to be scared if you are, if you can stop and find just moments of presence in stillness and calm, it's like opening your backpack and realizing you have what you need. You can find your way back to the sunshine, toward peaceful, loving relationships. Until next time, remember that you are a loving, lovable, and still growing human being. So please take good care of yourself. Bye for now. If you've enjoyed this episode of the Reconnection Club podcast, I invite you to check out reconnectionclub.com. The Reconnection Club is for parents at any stage of estrangement from their adult, child, or children. So whether you've just realized there's trouble between you, you've been living with estrangement for years, or you're newly reconciled but still walking on eggshells, the Reconnection Club is your essential resource for information, support, and continued personal growth. With our courses and workshops, expert interviews, monthly Q&A calls, and a friendly, active community, the Reconnection Club is a wonderful place to be for anyone suffering the pain of estrangement from an adult, child, or children. So check it out at reconnectionclub.com.